What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about Nano Dimension, ticker symbol NNDM, and going over all of the reasons why the stock price absolutely rocketed today. It's up at the current time at about 16.28%, and it's up $1.53 on the day, and that's a pretty huge move for a stock like this. We're going to go over all of the reasons why I think NNDM is shooting up so high, some of the institutions' buying behavior of this company, and what we can expect in the future. So make sure you stick to the end of this video if you want to see all of that information. Now, before we get into all of this info, if you guys enjoyed this video, please go down and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. It really helps me get this information out to as many people as possible, and you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks and learn about a few new ones. So the main reason why I think NNDM is getting such bullish momentum today is because it is having a short squeeze. Now, we're going to go over exactly what that is and how I figured out that this is basically what is going on in the company. So if we look at the past 3 months, we can see that Nano Dimension had a little bit of a dip when it was announcing its share offering, and they also had a pretty large rally back up when they announced a sale of their Dragonfly system, and you can see it's kind of been consolidating around the low $9 range for about the past couple of days, about a week of time. Now, when a stock like this with such volatility and momentum on the upside and can fall down to the downside pretty quickly, consolidates like this, it's almost gearing up for a massive move to the upside or downside. Now, if we go over here, we can take a look at the short interest in NNDM. So if we can see, the previous short volume was about 7.5 million shares, and the current short volume is about 11.5 million shares. So essentially what happens when you short a stock is you're borrowing stock from somebody else. So you're essentially selling shares of a stock that you do not own. So you need to have a margin account. Now, what happens is that in order for you to make profit on this trade, when you sell a certain amount of this stock, you get a certain amount of money into your trading account in the start. Now, you're hoping that the stock will go down so you can use those funds that you collected from the initial sale to buy back the stock, and your profit is going to be the difference in share price. Now, the float of NNDM is 172 million shares, which basically means that's the amount of shares that are out in the market right now in total, being owned by institutions, retail investors, and just out in the market, not bought yet. Now, this website says that there are about 35 million outstanding shares. That could be accurate, it could not be accurate, but this short volume is very important. So a lot of large institutions own shares of NNDM long, and they are betting that NNDM is going to go a lot higher in the near future. Now, we can take a look at an example of this. If we come over here, we can take a look at ARK's buying behavior of NNDM. We can see that they started scaling in at a price of about $1.72 at a share amount of about 147,000. Now, they keep ramping up their position. They doubled it right here, or actually they almost more than tripled it right here and went up to 1.8 million. And then we can see recently they doubled their share position from about 4.58 million all the way up to 8.3 million. And that is a pretty substantial position in this company. Now, at the current time, ARK is still buying at the highs of NNDM and has about 9.56 million shares. Now, if ARK is buying at the highs of this company, it's very safe to say that they think that this $10.78, $10.80 price point is not even close to the high that it is going to reach in 2021. Now, the reason for that is that ARK is an actively traded fund, and they do a lot of trading within their ETFs. And if they think with all of their technology and their analysis and all of the smart people that they have working for them, that they should keep buying NNDM at the highs, then that's most likely what they are going to do. And their price target for NNDM is probably around $15 to $25 a share. Now, we got to keep a lookout for if ARK is going to sell any shares of NNDM today, because if they start to take off some of their position, that's going to be a good factor in determining whether or not ARK is still bullish on NNDM and thinks they can go a lot higher in the future. But we're seeing a pretty massive short squeeze right now, and that could keep continuing. So what ends up happening in a short squeeze is that if the stock starts to rally, you're basically trading with margin, and you have to maintain a certain margin requirement in your account in order to maintain your short position. Now, if the stock starts to really rally up, there's going to be a massive buying power on the buy side for NNDM, because these short sellers are going to have to close their position, which means they're going to have to buy back the shares that they sold at a higher price than they paid. So they are taking a massive loss on this trade if they have to buy back these shares that they sold and they cannot maintain their margin requirements. Now, short squeezes also don't happen all at once. Now, we could have seen a massive block of orders come in at this morning when they had to buy back their shares, but this could also keep continuing, because if there is a lot of different institutions or some maybe smaller trading firms that have short positions in NNDM, they all have different price targets for where they're going to have their stop loss, for where they're going to close out their position and take the loss on their short. So we could see this short squeeze continue throughout the rest of the week and maybe even next week if the short sellers are still continuing to be forced to buy back the shares that they sold. Overall, though, NNDM is a really great company right now. They're basically a 3D printing company for very complicated electric circuitry. Now, they're trying to get into the medical field, where they might even be able to 3D print pacemakers and some other medical equipment. But they've done a couple of pretty interesting capital raises right now, and the CEO has said that they have about 5 to 10 years of cash reserves to back themselves up in the near future, which is a pretty great sign. Now, in their most recent SEC filing for their capital raise, they put a heavy emphasis that they are going to be using the funds that they are going to raise for mergers or acquisitions with another company. Now, this could help streamline their marketing process and the sales process of these expensive 3D printers, or it could really help boost the technological abilities of this Dragonfly software. Now, the reason why they would want to do that is because NNDM is hoping that in the near future that their products are going to be able to mass produce complicated electric circuitry, so semiconductors, complex circuit boards, and they right now have the technology that nobody else has. So if they can keep improving their technology and get it to a point where they can mass produce their 3D printers, have a good market for them, and their 3D printers can mass produce products very cheaply for their consumers, it's going to be a massive company in the near future. Another thing that was very interesting that the CEO of NNDM said is that when you look at the market for these 3D printers right now and the people that are trying to produce them, there isn't anybody anywhere near close to where NNDM is at in terms of technology. And the important thing that the CEO said is that he wants to monopolize this technology. Now, there are a lot of regulations around monopolies, so we might see some interesting press releases or some regulation come in on this in the future. But for right now, the NNDM CEO said that if there is any competition that is coming in the near future for their product, they're just going to buy them, which is unbelievable. If they can buy another company that has a similar technology and they can work together to make this the best 3D printing software for complex electric circuitry that there is on the market and decrease the cost so it's more affordable to the different companies that want to purchase it, this company could go all the way up to 50 in the near future. That's kind of where I see NNDM going at the end of 2022 maybe. I think that they have a lot of cash and a lot of research and development capabilities that they're going to be able to get this technology out into the market faster than we may think. Now, they've only sold about 60 of these Dragonfly LDM printers, but they are thinking that this market for these Dragonfly LDM printers could reach about $25 billion by the year 2025. And I've even heard some estimates that it's going to be a $70 billion industry in the near future. And with NNDM being the top producer of this technology, their valuation is going to go absolutely crazy if the demand for these products starts to pick up. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed what I had for you in this one, please go down and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and comment down below your thoughts if you're considering adding more to your NNDM position, if you sold out today, or you're considering getting into a position right now. I'll see you guys in the next video.